Hello everyone, I'm Justine with Radio TV Val-d'Isère. I'm here with Charles-Antoine from Athena Advisors. Can you take us through what exactly Athena Advisors does for its clients?
Yes, in fact we are an international sales platform for French property developers. So we sell properties everywhere in France, in Paris, on Côte d'Azur, and also in the French Alps. We cover all the Alps, so we sell properties in every resort, from Porte du Soleil to Trivali's to Espace Kili, everywhere where we have mountains. And we are specialized on new build properties.
So Athena Advisors is much more than just a realty agency. Can you take us through some of the services that you provide your clients?
We don't work as a local agent. Our offices are in London. We have offices in London, Dublin, Rio, and Paris, and also in the Alps, in Annecy, but not in a ski resort. With our clients, we do everything from A to Z. Of course, we source and select properties for our client, but we also do their finances. So we have an in-house mortgage company called French Private Finance. We also give some legal advice, especially on the fiscal aspects, thanks to the notary we work with. And we try to make our clients as happy as possible.
And you specifically specialize in the French market. Can you tell us why?
The French market, first thing, in France we are very lucky because we have a very big diversity in our environment. I mean, from Paris to the seaside to the French Alps, and it's a real luck that we have. And we have a lot of French ski resorts, different one, from people looking for more traditional village, for some of them looking for more the purpose-built resort, but in high altitude. So we have a very large variety of properties.
And here we are based in Val-d'Isère currently. You're specifically saying that there's a lot of variety in the French Alps. Why do you think that Val-d'Isère is really interesting for buyers?
Val-d'Isère is very interesting because, first thing, it answers the main criteria, which are high altitude, large ski domain, and pretty village. Val-d'Isère is really for clients who really love the mountain. It's not comparable, for example, with Megève or Courchevel. In Val-d'Isère, we really feel that the people love skiing, and it's quite sporty. So it's not for everybody. And me and my team, we come in Val-d'Isère for at least 30 years, so it's really the resort we love the most. So that's why it's always a pleasure to work here.
And what kind of properties do you specialize in Val-d'Isère?
In Val-d'Isère, the market is very particular because here, compared to other resorts, you cannot build indefinitely. You have a lot of what they call red zone, which are avalanche zone, and this kind of thing. So by definition, you cannot build everywhere. So the offer is not very large compared to other resorts where we have 5, 6, 7 new build projects. In Val-d'Isère, for example, at the moment we have only one. One is nearly sold out, but we are focusing on one new build project here at the moment. And here what they have to do is most of the time demolishing an existing building from the 70s, 80s and redo it nicely as we can see.
So Charles-Antoine, you mentioned earlier the red zones in Val-d'Isère, the fact that we're actually quite limited in what we can build. If you were to meet someone who's maybe thinking about investing, maybe not, what would you say to them about development of new projects here?
As I said earlier, like new build projects are very, very rare in Val-d'Isère. When you are lucky, we have one new every year, but it's not the case. So when you see something in Val-d'Isère which is new, with large size properties, with a very good level of finishes, I would say do not hesitate, especially that, because first it's rare, but also in Val-d'Isère, as you can see, everything is walking distance, unless you are in Le Fornet or Ladaille, but usually when you are around the snow front, everything is walking distance, and in Val-d'Isère, I think the maximum you walk is what, 7-8 minutes
something like that,
from somewhere from a place to another. So if you see something that you like, I would suggest to go ahead with it and don't wait too long for an other project which maybe
will never happen.
Yeah. So,
and overall, what do you think the state of the market is right now?
But the market is very good at the moment. In fact, it's our busiest year since 2006 for several reasons. The first reason is the interest rate. It's true, like we have the lowest interest rate in history. For example, the best deal you can find at the moment for a British buyer, or British or international buyer who is not a French resident, you can get a mortgage with a rate of 2.65 fixed over 20 years, which is incredibly low. I was discussing with my parents and they told me, you know, at the time we were borrowing money at 6-7%, it was already a good rate. Today we are talking about 2.65%, which is very, very competitive. And here in France, we are lucky enough to have fixed rate for the whole duration, which make a big difference. So interest rates are very good, very low at the moment. Then we have, of course, the currencies. The sterling is very strong at the moment. 4 or 5 days ago, we reached 141 compared to euro. So just on exchange rate, our British clients have a much bigger buying power, I would say. It's the same for Swiss client as well, because recently the cap has been removed between Swiss franc and euro. So again, the Swiss client can get 20% more for the same budget. So those two conditions are very important in our business, and at the moment we have all the green light. Then for Val-d'Isère especially, we are lucky enough to launch at the moment a new very high-end residence in the center of Val-d'Isère, 10 apartments, an average of 4-bedroom apartment, 120 square meters.
Which is quite big for...
Which is quite big, and in fact it's really the demand nowadays.
And in terms of, what exactly would you say, for example, to someone who's quite intimidated in investing in France, the notion of different tax laws and things like that, what would you say to someone who's kind of hesitant?
Me, I would say that France is maybe the safest country in the world to invest in terms of property. You know that we have notaries in France, so when you buy a land or a property, it's yours, which is sometimes not the case, for example, in Morocco, when they sell 10 times the land to 10 different people. And what I want to say is French Alps will always be the French Alps, Côte d'Azur will always be Côte d'Azur, and Paris will always be Paris. I remember 2 years ago, we were discussing about Greece, about Spain, which was a big drama in the Eurozone. So it was in June, and suddenly in October, November, when it starts snowing, people still rethinking of the mountain, and they want to be in the mountain. And if you look at the occupation rate of the resort, I think it's quite phenomenal. You're maybe at 70% or 80% over the season, which is very good.
And to you, do you think there's any risk in investing in a snow resort with what we talk about in climate change and things like that? And Val-d'Isère, as you said, is quite high in altitude.
Yeah, but the thing is, if there is no snow in Val-d'Isère, there is no snow anywhere. So at least when you are around 1800 meter altitude, it's quite snow sure. We have a lot of resorts around 1000 meter altitude, 1200, which is not that easy, especially at this time of the year when you are in end of March, beginning of April. And again, for property investments, location. As usual, it's really the golden rule for a good property investment. So Val-d'Isère is a fantastic resort. The skiing is fantastic, and the infrastructure, the level of the restaurants, of the hotels, the after ski, you have everything really. And from 7 years old to 77, I think it's the perfect place to be.
Perfect. Well, we hopefully will see you more often in Val-d'Isère then, Charles-Antoine. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us, and that's all we have for today.
Thank you, Justine. Bye-bye.